All right, good evening, yogis. We are getting started in about 10 minutes or so. Just getting the stream going, getting it live. Yeah, you're in for a chill yoga flow tonight. We're going to be doing a little bit of work on our feet. The past couple weeks we have just stuck to the ground, but today we're going to get our feet just a little bit. If we don't know each other, my name is Anna MC. You can find me on Instagram at the.anna.mc. I did post a playlist for you this evening that is in my Instagram story. So if you want some tunes to throw on in the background, sync that up. Like I said, we have about 10 minutes just getting the stream going live. Yeah, get comfortable. We're not going to sweat or anything, but we will move. And maybe light some candles and set the mood. That's all. In fact, maybe I'll light a candle. Yeah. Okay, well, let's hope that the website is updating. I'm doing my best. And now I need to fix this. And this. I'm so good at technology, y'all. I'm basically number one. I'm kind of the best with technology. That's a lie. Um, cool. So I'm just gonna try to get our website updated, and we'll start in a few minutes. Mm-hmm. Let's do this one. Hello, just Jill. Okay, let's see. So, good evening, yogis. I hope you like my ridiculous little top knot. We're getting started in a couple minutes. If we don't know each other, my name is Anna MC. I'll be guiding you through your practice this evening. If you want some tunes for practice, I did throw a playlist up on my Instagram story. So go ahead and find that now. You can find me at, I'm glad you like it, Jill. You can find me at the.anna.mc on Instagram. Go to my stories, find that playlist, throw it on in the background. Yeah, it's going to be a chill practice tonight. We've been sticking to mostly on the floor for these chill flows, but today we are going to get on our feet just a little bit, working mostly into our hips and shoulders. So yeah, keep that in mind. Also, please remember, if you're able to, please donate to our Teacher Relief Fund. You can find that link at blackswanyoga.com/live. There's a little button, make a donation to our teachers. That's me, amongst many other wonderful people. So yeah, if you're able to, please donate. Any case, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're moving and showing up for yourself. So we'll get started in about a minute or so. We're going to start on our backs tonight in Supta Baddha Konasana. So if you want to start settling in, you can. That's on the back, soles of the feet together, knees out wide. And I'll tell you every single time I offer you anything really, but especially a starting position. If that's not happening for you, start wherever you need to, right? I'm going to recommend on the back. So if open hips isn't happening tonight, take closed hips, take fallen bridge, or take Shavasana. Yeah, anything like that is going to work out just fine. And let's see, it's probably, yeah, it's about that time. Let's start getting settled in. So, on the back, there's something under my mat. What is it? Garbage. On the back, soles of the feet together, knees wide. Come to lay down. Again, if that's not happening, you can be here with the knees together, the feet wide. You can be here with the legs extended. You could even be in just like a bridge breath. Wherever you choose to begin practice, find something intentional to do with your arms. I'm going to recommend an open shoulder shape as well. So I'm going to take my arms above my head, forming a diamond shape, placing one hand on top of the other with the palms facing open toward the ceiling. From here, close your eyes. Allow yourself to settle in. Just get those little wiggles out so you can find a comfortable shape to be still in. Close your eyes if you have not already. And we'll start practice this evening with a collective cleansing breath. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Big open mouth exhale. Good, let's do two more like that. Deep breath in. Soft sigh. Last one, inhale belly, ribs, chest, and find an audible sigh out. Now from here, simply maintain a focus on your breath. Begin to notice all the different spaces that it fills. Notice how that affects the body. Can you feel the soft rise and fall of your chest, belly? What else are you experiencing here? Take a little scan. Check in for any tension or discomfort. Make a conscious effort to release tension here. Perhaps you start small with the eyebrow. You unclench your jaw. Relax the muscles in your neck, shoulders, and thighs. Slowly and steadily, I can hear my roommates making dinner, y'all. It's making me laugh. Slowly and steadily. Just let each breath be longer than the last. Exhales equal to inhales. With every breath out, can you allow your body to grow heavier? Now let's turn the focus away from the physical and more to the internal. I know it can be a scary place to go. Just notice what you're bringing with you to your mat this evening. Notice any stirring thoughts, any lingering emotions. Try not to judge the things that are present. Simply acknowledge that they're there. Then ask yourself as things arise, is this something I need to focus on right now? Is it something that will serve me in this practice? Or is it something I can let go of for now? Anything that feels necessary, just keep with you. Anything else, release on an exhale. So this is a base way to find meditation. As things come up, thoughts or emotions, simply acknowledge. Name them for what they are. It's just a thought, it's just a feeling. And then let it go. Until you start to find the space between the thoughts. And eventually that space between gets a little bit larger. Now perhaps, dear friends, something did stand out in your mind that you want to invite into your practice tonight. If that's the case, just plant that thing in your mind's eye now, just like a seed. Return to it as you move. Let's take one more breath together. Take a deep inhale. Big open mouth. Good. On your next exhale, take your hands down to your sides. Use them to gently guide your knees closed like a book. And then take the knees into the chest. Give a little squeeze, maybe an easy rock left and right. Perhaps you invite some circles into the knees or hips, totally up to you. Just a little bit of movement after that static posture we were holding, right? Getting a little bit of blood flow going in. Now with both knees drawn in, we're going to extend the left leg long to release, keeping that right knee drawn in tight, hooking around the shin. Try to draw that right knee up and over towards your armpit. I'm only going to use my right hand here. Breathing in, find a little point and extend of your toes, just pointing and flexing. Good. Now I'm going to take that left hand over to grip for the outside of that right shin. I'm going to take the right arm along to a capital T or a goalpost shape. Then on the exhale, I'm going to start to guide that right knee over to the left for an early supine twist. Now, allow the right shoulder to stay grounded down. It doesn't matter if your right knee is dropping all the way to the floor. We're going to focus the breath down to the low belly and back. Maybe you choose to keep your eyes closed here. Hold for a full breath cycle. Next inhale, carefully draw through center. Let's take both knees in. Again, a little squeeze, maybe a little rock around. Now extend that right leg long. Drawing the left knee up toward the armpit. Play with a little point and flex of the toes. Maybe some circles of the ankle. Again, just kind of getting into those smaller spaces. Places we kind of forget about, right? Our ankles, our wrists. Drawing the left knee actively over toward the armpit. And take that right hand, grip for the left shin, extend the left arm either to a cactus or a capital T shape. Then on the exhale, draw the left knee to the outside of the right hip, allowing the left shoulder to stay grounded, and focusing the breath down to the low belly and back. Turn to look over the left shoulder to invite this twist into your neck. Can you take your breath slow, steady, and even? Full breath cycle here. Good. Next inhale, carefully draw through center. Take both knees in, give a little squeeze, and then let's plant the heels by the butt, palms face down to the sides, fingertips almost able to tickle those shins. Tuck the shoulder blades underneath your body. Now as we prepare for our bridge pose, we want to think about how we get there, right? So you want to start by engaging the low abdomen. So press the small of your back down into the ground. Notice how that creates a pelvic tilt and engages that low belly here. So we press the tailbone down, finding that tilt. Then we use our abs and our glutes to drive the hips up toward the ceiling. Perhaps you choose to walk a little more onto the shoulder blades. Keep a neutral gaze toward whatever's above you, constantly pressing the thigh bones up. Try to stay grounded through all three corners of your feet. Focus the breath to the front line of the body. Hold here for an inhale. Then vertebrae by vertebrae, begin to lower back down. I want the pelvis to be the last thing to touch the mat. Good. When it does, give the tailbone a moment to reground. And then let's take the right ankle to the top of the left thigh for a reclined figure four. We're going to actively open that right knee away from our body. Flex the right heel. Now you can stay right here if this is already feeling intense for you, right? Perfectly acceptable place to stay. If you're craving a slightly deeper stretch, you can thread the needle, reaching your right hand between your legs. Float the left leg, grip the back of the left thigh, give a gentle pull towards your body. If that's the option you go for, just try to keep both feet flexed here. Actively opening the right knee, again, away from the body. Giving that little pull of your left thigh towards you to deepen the stretch. Yogis, if you ever struggle with half pigeon, this is a great place to come instead. So just keep that in mind, keep that in your back pocket. We need to start, or not start, but we should remember to make the practice fit our own bodies, right? Not every pose is going to be the pose for us. This is an excellent alternative for half pigeon if you struggle with that shape. If you have this grip on your exhale, release down. We're just going to unwind and switch sides. We plant the right foot, left ankle to the top of the right thigh. That foot flexes, the knee opens away from the body. Again, you can stay right here. Make it fit you. If you want a little bit of a deeper stretch, thread the needle, flip the right foot. Both feet are flexed. We give a gentle pull of the right thigh toward the body, but that left knee remains actively opening away. Equal breaths. Excuse me. On your next exhale, again, carefully release down, plant the foot, then the left foot plants. Let's do one more bridge pose. Palms face down, shoulders tucking underneath. We start by pressing the tailbone down, tilting the pelvis, engaging the abs, then lifting the hips, pressing the thigh bones up. Let's take 3 big breaths here. And on the exhale, we slowly lower back down. The pelvis is the last thing to arrive. When it does, take a moment to reground, then draw the knees in toward the chest. You can grip around the shins or the backs of the thighs, take a few rock and rolls forward and backward. We meet crisscross applesauce. So, you can have your ankles stacked or staggered, either way. We're just gonna take a couple seated stretches before we get into our tabletop. So start with some big juicy shoulder shrugs, taking the shoulders up toward the ears, down the back, and then forward. Let me change directions. We come up toward the ears, forward, down, and back. Good, and then we take one forward, one backward. Challenge your coordination a little bit. And then we change directions. Good. All right. Let's take both arms up overhead on an inhale, then we plug the shoulders down into the socket. Take your left hand outside your left hip to the floor and then tip over to the left. Roll your right shoulder down into the socket as you send energy through the tips of your fingers. And try to keep that right sit bone grounded down. Then focus the breath into your right rib cage. Now here you can look wherever feels best for your neck. Maybe you're looking down at that left hand, forward or upward. Can you physically expand the right rib cage with your breath? You can. Good. Next inhale, come up through center. And then exhale, other side. Folding over to the right, rolling that left shoulder back. Again, try to keep the left sit bone down. Take big, expansive inhales into the left rib cage. Inhale, take it up through center. On the exhale, take the right hand to the outside of the left thigh, left hand behind. Press hand and thigh into each other. And look as far over your left shoulder as feels good. Breathing into this twist. And exhale to release, switch sides, left hand, right thigh, press, look over the right shoulder. And exhale to release. Make your way to a tabletop position. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Spread wide through the fingers, soften slightly through the elbows. We're going to have that little engagement of the low belly up and in to create a flat and supported spine. And on the inhale, we drop the navel as we lift the gaze and tailbone up for our cow spine. Can you slide the shoulders down the back? Stay here, big breath in. On the exhale, lead with the pelvis. Draw the navel up and in. Round up your spine, chin tucks to chest for your cat pose. Keep pressing the ground away. Inhale, belly drops, gaze and tailbone lift. Exhale, press, curl, round. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Y'all just cycle through this a few more times on your breath. Maybe you stick with those cat cows, and then maybe you explore some variations here. Thinking about wrist positioning, right? Perhaps you change that. Turning your fingers towards your body or away from each other, placing the backs of your hands on the mat. Maybe you invite some circles into the spine and hips. Just a few breaths to really kind of drop in to where you are tonight. Giving ourselves that little reminder that every time we show up on our mat, it is going to be different, okay? So make that space tonight for your practice to be different than it ever has before. We're never the same as we were. What's that saying about can you step into the same river twice, right? I don't know. Same, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about. All right, start to come back to can the same person step into the same river twice? I don't know. Come back to your tabletop. You know what I'm getting at. From here, on an inhale, let's take the right arm up, rolling the right rib cage open, plug the shoulder into the socket. On the exhale, thread the needle. Right arm goes down between the left arm and leg. Take your shoulder and ear all the way down to the mat. Then press your right shoulder actively toward the right edge of your mat. Take your left arm long in front of you. Then wrap that shoulder down into its socket, focusing the breath to the space between the shoulder blades. Beautiful. Take your left hand back underneath your shoulder. Inhale to press up, reach up. Right arm goes high. Exhale, hand goes down. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, thread the needle, shoulder and ear down. Press your left shoulder toward the left edge of your mat. Curl your right arm in front of you and then wrap that shoulder into its socket. So I'm actively pressing my shoulder toward my bookcase right now. My messy, messy bookcase. Don't judge me, or do, I really don't care. Good. And then from here, take the right hand back underneath the shoulder. Inhale, press up, reach up. Exhale, plant the hand. Let's take one cat-cow. Inhale, belly drops. Exhale, round. Inhale to a neutral tabletop. From here, we're just going to tuck the toes to find a plank, right? Then from there, from that high plank form, we're going to come to the knees, right? Notice how that angle is still fundamentally the same. Then we're just going to lower all the way down to our belly and untuck the toes. Now I'm going to do my left side first so that y'all can see this, but I want you to start by extending your right arm long. So we're going to keep the left hand underneath the shoulder, take the right arm out to that half capital T shape. Then we're going to take the right heel up toward the butt. Then we're going to press through our right hand, letting that right foot come behind us. So now we're laying on the left hip. Take the left shoulder ear down to the mat. So we're opening the front of the left shoulder head now. This is the opposite of the opener that we just did in our tabletop. So got that left arm fully extended, palm flat on the ground. Or sorry, right arm, my bad. Y'all have your right arm, I have my left arm, so I can demo. Brain stuff, right? We're opening the front of the right shoulder for y'all. Good, and then we carefully roll back through center. Take your right hand underneath your chest as though you were going to press up for Chaturanga. Then we're going to take that left arm out long, palm flat, making that capital T shape. You're going to take your right heel towards your butt cheek. And then you're going to open up, rolling onto your left side. Opening the front of the shoulder. I don't know what this is called, but it's one of my favorite stretches. And then from here, we're gonna come back through center. Take both hands underneath the chest, the elbows wrap back, the feet are untucked. Find a little baby cobra on the inhale, peel the heart up, squeeze the elbows back. We're firming up the thighs. There's no weight in the hands, it's purely the strength of your upper back and abdominals lifting you up. Just a couple breaths. And exhale to release down. Now we're going to take our hands out slightly wider than the edges of the mat, coming to the very tips of your fingers, elbows going up toward the ceiling. Then we're going to press through the fingertips to lift the heart, finding a slightly bigger back bend. The thighs are still firming up. If you have any low back irritation happening here, you're just going a little too far. Do a little bit less. Remember, there shouldn't be pain in our practice. That's where it comes to making the practice fit your body, not the other way around. And then exhale, release down. Take your hands underneath your chest, elbows wrap back, tuck your toes. On an inhale, we press up to a high plank. You can come through that knee plank. And exhale to down dog. Send the hips up and back. Y'all take a few beats in this first down dog. This is the first time we're doing down dog in this chill class in quite a while. Just take a couple beats, pedal it out. Check in, notice what you're feeling, notice where you're feeling, and as you do this, make sure your foundation's solid. Look at your hands, physically look at them. Are they shoulder distance? Are you spreading your fingers wide, pressing through the fingertips? Triceps wrap in, navel pulls upward, heels extend downward. From here on an inhale, let's lift the right leg up. On the exhale, bend the knee, open the right hip. Now you can always invite some circles into the ankle, knee, or hip here. Just make sure your right shoulder is still square. We're pressing firmly through that right hand, and again, wrapping that armpit down. How's that right hip doing tonight? Can you keep drawing the left heel toward the earth? Good, now from here, we're just going to extend the leg, square the hip, and then exhale, right knee toward the right elbow, and plant the right foot directly behind the right wrist. Drop your left knee down to the mat, untuck your toes. We just want a slightly wider lunge than normal. Now on the inhale, take your arms up, Anjaneyasana. Breathing here, let's knit the ribs and hips closer together, and then press the left hip forward instead of splaying open. Arms up, shoulders plugging down. If arms up is too intense on your shoulders, take your hands to your heart. Make the practice fit you, okay? Can you focus the breath to the front line of the body? From here, on an inhale, lift your heart, lift your gaze. On the exhale, cactus your arms. We're going to draw those shoulders down, pinch the shoulders back, spread the fingers wide. Then just find a little pulse, a little squeeze of your shoulder blades together. Targeting the muscles in between the shoulder blades. Yeah, there's muscles there, right? Easy to forget about those. Good, pulsing 4, little squeeze, like you have a pencil between there. 3, 2. And inhale, reach back up, spine stacks. Exhale, plant your hands to frame your foot. On the inhale, we're going to circle that right arm back behind us. Take your left heel towards your left butt cheek, and then grip for the outside edge if possible of the left foot, but go for whatever's accessible. If you can't reach your foot, try lengthening or widening your stance. Then from there, we're going to keep rolling the right shoulder open, giving a gentle pull of the left foot toward the butt to breathe into the quad here. If you want a little bit of added challenge, try kicking your foot back into your hand to add a little bit of a traction there. Good. On your next exhale, release, circle back to plant. Let's wiggle that right foot between the hands and straighten the right leg out for a half split. Now, friends, you might have a hard time reaching the floor in your half split. If you have books nearby, or even a water bottle, right, or yoga blocks, you can always bring your fingers to those instead. You also have the option to softly bend your right knee. Now, right now we have the toes flexing toward the face. The navel draws in, we lengthen the spine, and then we fold a little further. You can hold right here, simply focusing on your breath. Or you can start to explore pointing the toes, flexing them back towards your face. You can start to explore turning your toes over to the right or to the left, playing with that range of motion. Wherever you are, just try to make sure that your hips are still stacked above your left knee, that you're not sitting back on your heel. Oh, hamstrings. Stay here for a full breath cycle. I'm going to turn around for the sake of this next transition, but rest assured I'm still in the same half split. So, stay with me. We're in our half split with our right leg extended, right? We're going to bend into the right knee so that the knee comes over the ankle. And then we're going to start to turn over toward the left, to drop the left knee down to the mat, to come into a tabletop, but we're facing the long part of our mat, right? So we're facing sideways on our mat. You know where we're going? Stay with me here. Okay, so we're in our tabletop, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, facing the wrong way on our mat. Now we're going to turn our toes out. See that there? And then we're slowly going to take our knees a little bit wider. So I've got the arch side of my foot on the ground. Now from here, keep guiding the knees gradually wider. The feet are flexing, the toes are turned out. Coming into our frog pose. Now, you might already be feeling this a whole lot. You're normal, all right? If that's the case, just breathe here on your hands. And if you're like, I don't feel this, okay, go a little deeper. Take your elbows down to the floor. Breathe here. Now, if you're still feeling special, I don't feel this at all. Everyone, press your hips back. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we're finding that active pressing back. So right now I'm pressing my butt toward my bookcase behind me. Focus your breath to your belly and calm your face down because it might be screaming right now. If that's the case, you're normal, okay? Frog pose is not super gentle for most of us. Notice what comes up here. Try to send the breath into the pelvis. Is your breathing still smooth and steady? Are you still pressing your hips back? Could you unclench your jaw? Okay, darlings, you might be wondering, Anna, how do I get out of this forsaken pose? It's a good question. Start by turning your toes in toward each other, right? Come up to your hands. Very slowly guide the knees together to touch if possible. And we're going to take a closed-legged child's pose here. So my toes are touching, my thighs are touching. I'm going to rest my rib cage on my thighs and then take my forehead down. Finding a comfortable extension of the arms. For me right now, my arms are completely bent. That's what feels good right now. Take a few breaths into the lowest point in your belly. Send some of that breath to the low back. Maybe you come back to that intention right now. Maybe you notice what comes up here. Full breath cycle. Good. Make your way back to a tabletop. Turn toward the top of your mat. I'm not going to offer you any flows this evening, but if you absolutely feel like you want to take one, now would be your time to insert it. We're going to be back in downward facing dog. So we just tuck the toes and send the hips up. Again, the navel's drawing upward. We're spreading through the tips of our fingers, not just the palms. And then from here, we inhale the left leg up. The exhale bends the knee, rolls the hip open. Maybe you invite some circles into the ankle near hip. Just keep pressing that left shoulder to square toward the ground. Keep reaching your right heel toward the ground. How's the left hip? Different than the right? Good. And then from here, we're just going to extend the leg and square the hip down. Take an inhale. The exhale brings the left knee behind the left elbow and plants the foot directly behind the wrist. Back knee drops down, toes untuck. On the inhale, arms go up, Anjaneyasana. Breathe here. Now again, we are pressing this hip forward, but we're also knitting the ribs and hips together, then finding a soft pressing instead of just splaying everything open, right? Bringing a little more intention into the way we move. Arms can come up or to the heart if your shoulders are feeling irritated or having limitations, right? Can you send breath down the front of the right hip? Next, inhale, lift the heart, lift the gaze. Exhale, cactus. Draw the elbows down wide, squeeze the shoulders back, spread wide through the fingers. Find a little pulse of your shoulder blades toward each other. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Targeting into those smaller muscles. And give a little pencil back there. Pulsing 4, 3, 2. Good. Inhale, take your arms up. Exhale, plant the hands. The inhale is going to circle that left arm all the way back. You take the right heel toward the butt, gripping for the pinky toe edge of the foot if possible. Again, if you can't reach, try scooting your left foot wider or further forward. Keep rolling that left shoulder open. Softly pull the right heel toward the butt. A little bit of added work. Kick your foot back into your hand. You can keep the breath smooth and easy here. Good. On your next exhale, release, circle back to plant. Wiggle that left foot between the hands. And extend the left leg for your half split. Hips over the right knee, toes start flexing up. Again, you can always softly bend your left knee or bring your fingertips to some item of support. Books, blocks, water bottles, whatever you have around. The inhales, draw the navel in, lengthen and lift. And the exhales, fold a little further. You can stay right here with the toes flexing up. You can play with pointing and flexing. Pointing and flexing. You can play with turning the toes out to the left, over to the right, like a little windshield wiper. We have a few breath cycles here, so try to stick with it. You keep the breath smooth and steady. Full breath. All right, inhale Inhale to a low lunge, bend back into your left knee. We're going in for round 2. You're welcome. Start to turn over towards your right as you drop that right knee to the mat. Don't skip this. Turn your toes out. Start to wiggle the knees wider. Inseams of the foot are on the ground. Toes are flexing. A little bit wider. Very gradually, a little bit wider. Maybe you stay on your hands because this is already super spicy. Maybe you take your forearms down. If you're feeling smug, join the rest of us. Press the hips back. Ooh, there it is. Low belly breaths. What do you focus on here? Unclench your jaw. What tension can you let go of? Can you send the breath all the way down to the hips? Are you still pressing the hips behind you? Stick with it. Full breath cycle. Good. Slowly up to the hands, toes turn in. Guide the knees together. Thighs touch if possible. Sit back on your heels. Rib cage rests on the thighs. Forehead to the mat. Finding a closed-legged child's pose. Take a few breaths here. Notice the things that are coming back up. As they arise, acknowledge them. Name them for what they are. And if they will not serve you in this practice, just send them away with an exhale. They'll still be there later. The full breath cycle. And then find your tabletop. Turn to face the top of your mat. Tuck your toes. Again, if you really need a flow, go for it, man. But this is a chill practice. I'm not going to require it of you. Send your hips up and back to downward facing dog. How we doing? We still have some time. Beautiful. We're going to get on our feet for just a couple of poses. From down dog. On an inhale, let's bend the knees, lift the heels up and look between the hands. On the exhale, let's just tiptoe to the top of the mat. Finding a ragdoll pose. Bend your knees a lot. Let your head hang. Grab for opposite elbows. Couple breaths here. Maybe you sway. Maybe you flutter the lips out. Shake the head, yes or no. Good. Then from here, very slowly, on an inhale, let's just roll up to standing. When you arrive, shoulders come up the ears, down the back, palms forward. From here, we're just going to step our right foot to the back of the mat. So we're turning to face toward the right edge of the mat. Turn your toes out, your heels in, then sink the hips down for a goddess squat. So I still have the knee over the ankle, right? My knee and my big toe are pointing the same direction, as wide of a turnout as you can manage. Try to make sure your knees aren't collapsing inward, right? You want to actively open them back. And from here, just find a little shift side to side. How your hips do it after that frog pose. Ooh, frog. And then from here, with the hands inside the thighs, take an inhale. On the exhale, we're going to dip that right shoulder down and turn to look over the left shoulder for a little twist. Inhale through center. Exhale, left shoulder dips, look over the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, dip. Inhale, center. When I dip, you dip, we dip. I'll never not make that joke. And do this a few more times. I know it ages me every time, but I don't care. Good, one more. And inhale to come up, turn your toes slightly in, heels slightly out, and exhale to find a nice wide-legged fold, hinging from the hips, head hangs heavy. Take any variation of this that's calling to you now. Try playing with where your weight is. If it's all in the heels, you might feel this really intensely on the hamstrings, so maybe you shift it a little more to the toes. Maybe you take a bind or a twist here. Maybe you grab for your ankles. Just a few breaths, go where you need to. Start to make your way back to neutral. Take your hands under your shoulders. Inhale to find a long, flat back, shoulders sliding down the back. On the exhale, let's take a lizard lunge to the right side. So we're going to start to crawl our hands over to the right as we bend into the right knee. Pivot to the ball of the left foot. Wiggle your right foot wide. So we want the right arm inside the right leg. You can see it here. Whoop, whoop. The knee still over the ankle. The big toe is still pointing forward. Stay grounded through the ball mound of your foot. Now I've dropped my left knee to the mat because I know that we're going to be here for a while. So the same thing with that frog pose we worked on earlier. This could already be super spicy for you. If that's the case, focus on the breath, okay? And if you're like, this feels good. I don't know who you are, but maybe it feels good. Maybe you want to go a little bit deeper. So you come down to your forearms. And if you can't quite make it down to your forearms, grab, a couple books to slide down to find that midway point. Wherever you are, the breath goes all the way down to the low belly. Maybe you close your eyes. Unclench the jaw. With every exhale, find a place to soften. Stay here, full breath cycle. Good. Now we're just going to walk up to our hands, right? We're going to wiggle the foot between the hands. We're going to find an engaged low lunge, lifting the left knee up. And we're coming straight into a half pigeon from here. So I'm just going to float my right foot for a moment and find that shin paralleling the top edge of the mat, right? So look over your left shoulder, make sure ankle, knee, and hip are in a straight line. And the pelvis is squaring forward, right? The right foot is flexed. Hands outside the hips, start tall and proud. Like I said earlier, if this pose causes you knee pain or is inherently inaccessible, take a second round of that reclined figure 4 and notice if it feels different. Stay here for a big breath in. And on the exhale, we start to bow down. Walking hands or forearms in front of you. Notice if your weight is all dumping backward or forward. See where that middle ground is. Maybe the forehead comes to the mat. Can you send breath into the right hip? Close your eyes. Notice the things that arise here. As things come up, can you find that cycle of acknowledge, release, and repeat? Acknowledge what's there, name it for what it is, let it go, and allow yourself to find the space between, that quiet space. Take 3 big breaths here. Your next inhale, slowly start to walk it back up. Let's tuck the left toes, send the right knee up and back. Ooh, open it up, shake it out, get some blood flow going back in. If you absolutely need to flip your dog, go for it. It's your practice, make it your own. We'll meet back in a down dog. From down dog, big breath in. Big breath out. Inhale to bend the knees, look forward. Exhale to tiptoe to the top of your mat. Now here I'm going to give you options. So your first option is just take a second ragdoll pose, right? Bending the knees, grabbing the arms, swaying around, getting all hippy-dippy. The second option, again, still bending the knees a lot, but grabbing for elbows behind the knees, hugging your torso onto your thighs, still letting the head hang. Couple different options. Do what you need to. If you have that bind, on your exhale, release it. Very slowly on the inhale, roll up. Shoulders down the back. From your mountain pose, let's just step that left foot back, turning all 10 toes to point toward the long edge of your mat. Toes turning out, hips sinking low, goddess squat. Shifting side to side, maybe one leg even fully straightens, right? Just a couple breaths to find that little exploration. Ooh, I'm lagging, that's fun. Take your hands inside your legs, take an inhale. Exhale, dip. I hope you have some chips. Inhale, center. Because we have all this dip, exhale. Inhale, center. Exhale, dip. Inhale, center. Exhale, dip. One more each side. Good. Inhale to come up. Turn the toes slightly in, heel slightly out. And exhale to take that wide-legged fold. Head hangs heavy. Again, I'm going to give a few breaths to find your expression, your variation. Don't think too hard. Good, friends. Do you have a breath cycle? Hands come underneath the shoulders. Inhale for a long, flat back, shoulders sliding down the back. On the exhale, lizard lunge to the left. Start to crawl your hands over to the left as you turn all 10 toes to face the top edge of your mat. Wiggle that left foot wide so that the left arm is inside the thigh. Drop the back knee down, toes untuck. Now you might immediately notice, oh, word, this side's different. So, if that's the case, if this side is a lot spicier than the other, maybe you stay here on the hands. If you need a little bit more, take the elbows down to the mat or a book or a block or whatever. Just try to keep that knee over the ankle and try to stay grounded through the ball mound of your foot. So we're not letting that knee butterfly open, we're still pressing through the ball mound. Low belly breaths. Calm your face down. And every exhale be a release. Can you keep the breath smooth and easy? Full breath cycle. Very slowly come up to your hands. Wiggle the foot between the hands. Tuck your right toes, lift your right knee. Hands plant flat. We're coming straight into our half pigeon from here. So we're simply going to slide that left ankle behind the right wrist. Untuck the back toes. Look over your shoulder. Ankle, knee, and hip in a straight line. Cool. Hips squaring forward. Even cooler. Start tall and proud. Puff the chest. Big inhale. And the exhale begins to fold forward. Again, you can take a reclined figure four as an alternative to this half pigeon if you're having any knee pain or if this pose is inherently inaccessible for your body. Take what you need. This is your time on your mat. We will be here for quite a few breaths. So close your eyes. Drop in. Notice what comes up. And find the spaces between. keep the breath equal. Soften. Stay here for 3 full breaths. Slowly, on the inhale, start to walk your hands back in. Tuck your right toes. Send your left leg up. Oof. Open it up, shake it out. Get some blood flow going back in there. Again, if you absolutely gotta do it, flip your dog. It's your time. Let's meet in a child's pose. So we'll come back through that down dog, drop down to the knees, taking a brief child's pose. We have just a few shapes left, my friends. From your child's pose, fully extend your arms, press through your hands, wrap the shoulders down, right? So I'm going to just wrap the shoulders down into the armpits. Look between your hands. Start to crawl the hands further forward so that your hips come to stack over your knees. Finding our puppy pose. So the hips are over the knees, the arms are all the way out to the top edge of the mat. Take your forearms down to the mat, and then take your chin down to the mat. If chin on the mat is too intense on your neck, take your forehead to the mat instead. Wherever you are, actively press your chest toward the ground. It might touch the ground, it might not. Keep breathing. Think like a playful puppy with its booty in the air and a toy in its mouth. It wants to play. Now from here, look between your hands. Use your forearms to pull your shoulders over the elbows. We're going to tuck the toes, lift the knees, and extend the legs. Then we're going to lower our legs down to the mat, belly to the mat, coming into a Sphinx pose. Our forearms are still in that same shape. They're making an 11. The fingers are spreading wide. The palms are flat. Press through your forearms. Slide your shoulders down your back. Find a slight opening through the throat. Now your feet can be about hip distance apart here, toes untucked, thighs just slightly firm. I love Sphinx pose. Good. Stay for an inhale. On the exhale, lower down. Take your hands under your chest and then just press back to take a seat. All right, yogis, just a few seated shapes left before we close out practice tonight. Hope you're still with me. Hope you're feeling good. Hope your hips feel okay, because we're going to come into Baddha Konasana. Feet together, knees wide like a butterfly. Your feet do not have to be close to your body, okay? As far in as feels good, there's no use forcing it. A few options. The first option, to give yourself a little assistance, is to interlace your fingers and hook them around your toes, getting a nice tall spine. You can press your elbows into your calves or around your shins. Again, that will give you a little bit of assistance into the stretch. If you want a more passive stretch, there's no pressure. We just take the forearms down as far as they go, breathe to the low belly. Now, if you practice often and you want to take this pose to like the next level, draw the knees up for a moment. Slide the arms underneath the legs, forearms flat on the ground, palms facing down. Wherever you are, the shoulders remain sliding down the back. We focus the breath to the lowest point in the belly. A little bit further. There we go. Full breath cycle wherever you are. The inhale very slowly walks back up. Good. Now from here, we're going to get just a little bit funky, so stay with me. We're going to bend further into that left knee. Take your left heel towards your right butt cheek. Make sure that right sit bone is down. Then we're going to take the right leg over the left, drawing the right heel toward the left butt cheek. Trying to get the knees on top of each other like this. They may not go there today. That's fine. Go where you can. Maybe it's here, partially crisscross. Maybe it's here, ankle on the thigh. Or perhaps this foot is planted, right? We just want both sit bones down. You can even plant the foot outside the left thigh, right? So this would be a nice midpoint here. Wherever you are, both sit bones down, start tall. And we're going to take the right arm up. Take your left arm out to a half T. Flip your left thumb to face toward the floor. So notice how the back of my hand is facing you now. We're going to take the back of that hand between the shoulder blades. Then we're going to take this right hand and make like a little Lego man grip, like a C with the hand. Making a C with the left hand as well. We're going to clasp the fingers together, drawing that right elbow up toward the ceiling. If you can't get that full grip and you notice you're kind of folding over and contorting your body to get it, just go where you can. Try not to contort the body here. So again, focusing on where we can go instead of trying to force ourselves to places we can't. Remembering that yoga is a practice of nonviolence. So this is called cow face, right? Now right now I'm actively pulling my fingers away from each other, right? I've got this strong Lego grip, my right elbow is drawing up toward the ceiling. You can stay here, or you can start to fold forward slightly, taking whichever variation feels best for you. We're just going to be here for a couple breaths. If you did fold, slowly begin to make your way back up. Carefully release that grip. Carefully unwind and extend your legs. Take a little wiggle out, and then we'll switch sides. We bend the right foot first, or right knee first rather, drawing the right heel toward the left glute. Then we plug that sit bone down. Take the left leg on top of the right, aiming to get the knees on top of each other if possible. Getting the left heel as close to the butt cheek as it will go. Sit bones down. Maybe the side's a lot different than the other. Maybe you just plant the sole of the foot. Maybe it's kind of a, almost like a fire log sort of, right? Just go where you can. Left arm up, right arm out. Flip it so that the thumb faces the floor. Take the back of your hand to the space between the shoulders. Make those little Lego man grippy hands. Think of a C. If you can, grip it together. Maybe like little lobster claws. If you cannot quite reach it, don't even worry about it, okay? Drawing that left elbow up toward the ceiling. Ooh, that's a nice stretch on my left side. Now you can stay right here, or you can softly start to fold forward. Maybe you notice this side feels different. Maybe it feels better or worse. Maybe it feels good to fold on this side, whereas it didn't on the other. It doesn't have to be the same on each side. Our bodies aren't always equal. Just be where you're at. Take a few breaths. If you fold it on an inhale, slowly make your way up. Carefully release your bind. Unwind and extend your legs. Wiggle them out. Final shape before we rest. Find both sit bones on the ground, toes flexing up. Arms go up on the inhale. Draw up and out of the low rib cage here. Then on the exhale, seated fold, reach for your toes. If you cannot reach your toes and you find yourself hunching and gripping for your shins, bend your knees until you can reach your toes, right? And then from there, on the inhales, we draw the navel in, we lengthen the spine, we lift the heart. On the exhales, we see if we can fold just a little further. It's like a wave. Creating space, and then folding into that space. Full breath cycle. On your inhale, slowly roll up. On the exhale, come to lay down on your back. Take your knees to your chest. Give a little squeeze. Make that squeeze bigger. Forearms come around the shins. Forehead pulls into the knees. Close your eyes. Show yourself a moment of gratitude for making this time for you tonight. You did the thing. You showed up. Give yourself a big tight squeeze. Take your biggest inhale of your day. And exhale, Shavasana. Final rest. Let your arms and legs go long. Toes fall where they may. Eyelids close. Darlings, please do not skip Shavasana. As you settle in tonight, I want to encourage you to tuck your shoulder blades a little more underneath your body and allow your palms to face open to the ceiling. We're going to breathe here together for a few breath cycles, and then I will guide you out of this, so please stay with me. So important to give our bodies time to reset, to rest. Allow yourself to be still, to return to your natural breath. With every exhale, allow your body to soften, to grow heavier. As you sink into stillness, if your mind once again begins to race, come back to that pattern. Acknowledge what's there. Name it for what it is. And then release it. Repeat that until you find the space between. Yogis, please feel free to rest as long as you need to. There's no rush. However, if you are ready to seal practice out together, begin to draw your focus back in. Notice that soft rise and fall of the chest and belly. Invite some little wiggles into the fingers and toes. Allow those to turn into circles of the wrists and ankles. Be gentle. And then on an inhale, take a nice big good morning stretch. Reach the arms overhead. Fingers and toes pull away from each other as you lengthen your spine. Invite new life in. And on an exhale, slowly roll onto your right side. Try to keep your eyes closed. On an inhale, very gently press up to a seat. From your seat, on the breath in, take your arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Yogis, I want to encourage you to take a moment for yourself here. To stay with this connection that you've established to your breath, to your body. Maybe you come back to that intention you set. What can you take with you off of your mat today? And what can you leave behind? Let's take one breath together. Take a deep inhale. Big open mouth release. Now, as always, the light in me honors, acknowledges, and truly loves that same light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for tuning in, yogis. Such a pleasure, such a joy, and an honor to be here virtually with you. Again, my name is Anna MC. You can catch 7 p.m. for a power flow. If you have any questions, sorry, I dropped my phone. Please feel free to message me on Instagram at the.anna.mc. Yeah, I'm always here to support y'all. Thanks so much for being here. Please donate if you can. Have a beautiful evening and drink lots of water, friends. Good night.